Thank you for joining in. We will be starting within just 1 minute. Hello and welcome back to the Retail Trader Special session on the Monday at 2:30 p.m. I am Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP-Invest. आज मैं आपको एक ऐसे टूल के बारे में बताने वाली हूँ जो कि बहुत सिंपल है बट बहुत ही ज़्यादा पावरफुल है। हर एक सक्सेसफुल ट्रेडर, चाहे वो कमोडिटीज़ में हो, चाहे वो करेंसीज़ में हो, चाहे वो स्टॉक मार्केट में हो, चाहे वो क्रिप्टो करेंसीज़ में हो, चाहे वो इंडियन इकॉनमी में हो, चाहे वो यूएस इकॉनमी में हो, पर हर एक स्टॉक ट्रेडर या इन्वेस्टर इस टूल को किसी ना किसी फॉर्म में यूज़ ज़रूर करता है। तो चलिए बढ़ते हैं स्लाइड की तरफ। ऑल राइट, सो अब आपको स्क्रीन पर दिख रहा है ये स्लाइड। सो एक सेकेंड मुझे और दीजिएगा। ऑल राइट, तो स्क्रीन पे आप देख सकते हैं आज मैं जिस टूल के बारे में बात करने वाली हूँ ये और कुछ नहीं, ट्रेड ट्रैकर है। मैंने कल अपने मेंबर्स को, परसों यानी सैटरडे के दिन अपने मेंबर्स को इसमें एक ट्रेनिंग दी थी, क्योंकि मैंने एक ऐसा ट्रैकर डेवलप किया है जिसमें एंट्री करना तो बहुत ही ईजी है क्योंकि इट इज़ नथिंग बट गूगल शीट, एंड एट द सेम टाइम इट रियली हेल्प्स यू स्टे ऑन टॉप ऑफ ऑल योर ट्रेड्स एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ ऑल योर आइडियोलॉजीज बिहाइंड द ट्रेड्स। क्यों ये इम्पॉर्टेंट है, कैसे इसे बेटर कर सकते हैं, वो सब हम डिस्कस करेंगे अब। तो जंप करने से पहले लेट्स टॉक अबाउट व्हाट इज़ अ ट्रेड ट्रैकर। जैसा स्क्रीन पे आप देख रहे हैं, ट्रेड ट्रैकर एक सिंपल टूल है जिसे आप यूज़ करते हैं अपने ट्रेड्स को ट्रैक करने के लिए। ट्रेड्स मतलब बाय या सेल। इसे टॉप क्लास इन्वेस्टर्स यूज़ करते हैं, ये तो मैंने ऑलरेडी आपको बोल ही दिया। ट्रेड ट्रैकर कोई भी रूप ले सकता है आपके लिए। इट कैन बी अ नोटबुक, इट कैन बी एन एक्सेल शीट, इट कैन बी अ गूगल शीट ऑल्सो। हम गूगल शीट यूज़ करना ज़्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं क्योंकि उसमें लाइव प्राइसेस हम पुल कर सकते हैं गूगल फाइनेंस के थ्रू। उसका एडवांटेज ये होता है कि आपको बार बार लाइव प्राइसेस को रेफर नहीं करना पड़ेगा, राइट? ओके, दूसरा, ऑब्वियसली अगर आप ट्रेड ट्रैकर यूज़ करते हैं तो आपके लिए गए ट्रेड्स में वो आपको ऑर्गेनाइज्ड रहने में ज़्यादा मदद करता है। ट्रेड ट्रैकर फुल टाइम ट्रेडर्स के लिए तो यूज़फुल है ही, पर जो पार्ट टाइम ट्रेडर्स हैं उनके लिए भी ट्रेड ट्रैकर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि जब आप एक फुल टाइम जॉब या एक फुल टाइम बिजनेस में ऑलरेडी इन्वॉल्व है तो इट्स वेरी ईजी टू लूज ट्रैक ऑफ व्हाट स्टॉक्स यू बॉट एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली व्हाई यू बॉट देम। Humans have a tendency to have biases. We have inherent behavioral biases जो हमारे actions and activities को impact करते हैं। अगर हम mindful नहीं हैं या अगर हमने रिकॉर्ड नहीं रखा है कि हमने किस ट्रेड को किस माइंडसेट में या किस लिए लिया, तो बाद में जब उसे एग्जिट करने की नौबत आती है तो या तो यू विल टर्न अवे फ्रॉम एग्जिटिंग इट बिकॉज आपका आइडियोलॉजी आपको याद नहीं है, यू विल एंड अप डेवलपिंग अ न्यू आइडियोलॉजी इन दैट मोमेंट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने एक स्टॉक खरीदा, आपने सोचा मैं इसमें शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडिंग करना चाहता हूँ या करना चाहती हूँ. आई वॉन्ट टू बाई दिस स्टॉक फॉर अ प्रॉफिट ऑफ मे बी 10 to 15%. योर method of analysis may have been anything, right? What you need to note is the target and the stop loss, that is the exit strategy, and why you want to trade. इस स्लाइड के एंड में मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी अपना ट्रेड ट्रैकर एंड हाउ आई यूज इट टू कैप्चर माई माइंडसेट. एडवांटेजेस, 3 महीने बाद या एग्जिट के टाइम पे व्हेन यू गो बैक टू सी व्हाई यू एंटर्ड द स्टॉक, and if you feel tempted to not exit the stock at the pre-decided strategy, this trade tracker will help you bring that back. And even if you decide to go against that previously set mindset, all you have to do is take a note of that in your tracker. उससे क्या होगा कि 1 महीने या 2 महीने बाद जब आपका इमोशनल कोशेंट एक्सपायर हो चुका है उसमें, आप ऑब्जेक्टिवली उस ट्रेड को और अपने एग्जीक्यूशन को स्टडी कर पाएंगे. एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस, over time you will end up becoming a much better trader. लोग बाहर जाते हैं, they keep looking for courses and keep looking for mentors, but if you only start looking at your own trading mindset, you will be able to make huge improvements. इसीलिए मैंने इस सेशन का नाम रखा है how to improve your trading mindset, because इसलिए मैंने सेशन का नाम रखा है हाउ टू इम्प्रूव योर ट्रेडिंग माइंडसेट. नाउ इफ़ यू डोंट स्टडी योर ट्रेडिंग माइंडसेट, इफ़ यू डोंट नो व्हाट यू डूइंग राइट, व्हाट यू डूइंग रॉन्ग, हाउ विल यू इम्प्रूव इट, एंड हाउ विल यू नो व्हाट यू डूइंग राइट और व्हाट यू डूइंग रॉन्ग इफ़ यू आर नॉट मेंटेनिंग अ रिकॉर्ड एंड गोइंग बैक एंड लुकिंग एट इट, राइट? दैट इज़ वाई ट्रेड ट्रैकर इज़ दैट मैजिक टूल जिसके बारे में मैंने मैंशन किया. सो अगेन, किसे यूज़ करना चाहिए ट्रेड ट्रैकर? लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर्स तो यूज़ करते ही हैं. आपने सुना होगा बड़े बड़े इन्वेस्टर्स के बारे में, वॉरेन बफेट, चार्ली मंगर, दैट दे कैरी अराउंड अ नोटबुक just to write down what they think about a stock and why they think it is good, because obviously memory has a tendency to fade. We have 10,000 other things to remember and it is very difficult to keep note of small things that you might be believing about any stock. This is true for technical analysts and fundamental analysts. Technical analysts के लिए obviously ज़रूरी है because charts पर there are 10,000 stories being told all the time, and if I don't keep mark of what aspect of chart reading interested me in investing in the stock, I will not have a very good trade strategy. And at the end of the day, I want to know that if a trade went good, if a trade went bad, why did it go good or bad? How can I repeat that pattern to stay consistently successful? So for long-term investors, for swing traders, for intraday traders, for part-time traders and full-time traders, maintaining a trade tracker is obviously not easy. It's going to require effort on your part, but trust me, it's a tried and tested method, and if there is one holy grail strategy in the stock market to making big money over time, this is it. Now, why should trade tracker be used? I have lightly touched upon these points and they're pretty straightforward, but for people who are new to the whole concept, I will still go over it one more time. So you need a trade tracker because memories tend to fade and notes help us recollect without the biases affecting our memory. Trade tracker help us analyze trade execution history. Analyzing trade execution history, just like the analysis of price action history, helps us identify good versus bad patterns. Good patterns are those which help you make good trades. Bad patterns are those which enable you to make bad trades. Now let me make a very important demarcation clear here. A good trade is not necessarily one where you made profits, whereas a bad trade is not necessarily one where you made losses. What do I mean by that? एक स्टॉक में हो सकता है कि आपने ट्रेड किया एंड उसमें आपको बम्पर प्रॉफिट हुआ एंड यू आर वेरी हैप्पी, राइट? नाउ इन योर हेड, इफ यू आर नॉट कॉन्शियस, योर ब्रेन हैज made the note that okay, this strategy I used in this stock and it worked very well. However, not necessary that the strategy was a good one. I'll give you an example. एशियन पेंट्स में मैंने पिछले बार बहुत बड़ा ट्रेड लिया था एंड उस ट्रेड में मुझे बहुत बड़ी प्रॉफिट भी हुई थी. आई वॉज ऑब्वियसली वेरी हैप्पी. 3 महीने बाद when I went back to analyze that trade, I realized that it was actually poor execution. Why? Because I had started purchasing Asian paints right at the peak of the previous swing high, क्योंकि मुझे लगा था कि वो और ऊपर जाने वाला है, and I did not use stop loss. Now because Asian paints was a good stock and मुझे पता था कि ये ऊपर जाएगा, I continued to accumulate it. Now I was lucky, let me remind you, I was lucky that the stock happened to bottom out and make a much higher high, ending up which enabled me to make profits. However, to stay in this trade, I had to exceed the allocation percentage in the journey of dollar cost averaging. I had to break my own trading principle. I had to violate my own stop loss because I really did not want to book a loss. And this was basically nearly 6 months ago. So even though on the face of it, it looked like a great trade and I ended up making over 30% profit on my entire trade, the entire amount, the execution was really bad. Now, what is the problem if I made profit on it? The problem is that it worked this time because it was Asian paints. It may not work other times when there will be other stocks in very different circumstances. And if I am not mindful of what I did wrong in a trade that ended up in profit, it will only boost my ego and make me do the wrong thing again and again. You might have heard of this entire phenomena as something called beginner's luck, where beginners come to the market, try out something very random, end up in profit, and they think they've cracked the right strategy, end up repeating it, don't get profits anymore, get aggressive, start revenge trading, lose more capital. Most of them end up killing their account entirely. All right, moving on. Benefits of using the trade tracker. It helps you identify what biases, what your personal behavioral biases are in play. There are biases like hindsight bias, anchoring bias, there are herding bias. सबसे डेंजरस मुझे लगता है इसमें एंकरिंग बायस एंड हाइंडसाइट बायस है. एंड एंकरिंग ऐसा बायस है जो अगर आप ट्रेड ट्रैकर अलोंग विद चार्ट एनालिसिस नहीं यूज़ करें तो हो सकता है आपको दिखाई ही ना दे, क्योंकि एंकरिंग बायस में क्या होता है, साइकोलॉजिकली यू गेट कमिटेड टू अ प्राइस बैंड, प्राइस जोन, और इट कैन बी द सेम प्राइस, एंड जाने अनजाने में आप एक ही प्राइस के आसपास बाय और सेल ऑर्डर बार बार एग्जीक्यूट करें इवन दो द स्टॉक इज गोइंग इनटू स्विंग्स. This is called anchoring bias, where you basically get anchored. Whenever that price comes, you feel this irresistible pull to execute a trade, and as a result of that, your portfolio suffers greatly. It's a bias which can be actively managed if you're aware of it. But the first step to managing biases is becoming aware of them. The second benefit is it helps you isolate good trades versus bad trades irrespective of P&L outcomes. I have already explained this in great details. Third benefit, to benefit high quality communication with your research analyst or financial advisor, as most people call it, and mentors. See, now stock market is a very competitive arena, and I have always said that for people who are new to the stock market, it is very important to associate with a research analyst, even if it is for nothing but talking to them about what you're thinking about the market. Now, when you talk, there will be some things that you're probably either misusing or misinterpreting. And when you're talking to a research analyst, and if you build that relationship, they will be comfortable in correcting you and bringing you on the right path. It does not matter whether that research analyst or the mentor that you're choosing for yourself is giving what kind of stock ideas they're giving you. I mean, that is of course a service which you can avail, but more than that, it is very important to associate with a research analyst, because in stock trading it is not as simple as buying low and selling high. There are so many more things that you need to know. Another benefit is that you can make consistent improvement over time in your trade execution skill. Let me remind you one more thing. Trade tracker does not help you become a better analyst, it helps you become a better trade executor. And like I always say, stock analysis and stock execution are two completely different ball games. They are both very, very demanding, and they're like full-time jobs. So if you're someone who's a retail participant who has a full-time job or a full-time business and you're trying to analyze stocks and execute trades, boss, you're trying to do 3 jobs, you will not be able to succeed unless you're absolutely brilliant, and there are very exceptional people who do. So I would not advise you to take them as examples in your life. Be practical. The last benefit, obviously, it helps you stay benefit, and there are way too many more benefits of using a trade tracker or a trade journal. So now we'll move towards sharing my screen, and I'll show you some examples of how I have been using the trade tracker. But I just want to remind you of one thing, that you can connect with me one-on-one and get personalized guidance on paid sessions. The link for that will be posted by the ET moderator in the comments right now. All right, so let me quickly share my screen with you so that we can carry on with this communication. So I will show you a sample from the trade for the tracking sheet that I use for my for tracking the trades which I'm executing in client portfolios. You will not be able to see much quantitative information like quantity, because it is confidential and it relates to a client's account. So a lot of the columns have been hidden. But what I'm going to show you will help you in seeing what I write, how I write it. So here is the trade tracker that I use day to day, like literally this is what I work with. I don't look at charts during the market hours so much, but I do work on my trade journal to study, what I have said about previous stock ideas and why I want to participate in them. Now, for example, you can see that in IOC, I had bought it somewhere around 70 rupees and 50 paisa on 24th of August. And you can see that I had sold it too soon. So this reminds me, and also I do one more thing, is when I do chart analysis, so the charts that I use, which is trading view, I always make it a point to mark my trades. So with green and red dots, this so you can see here, for example, here this is 22nd of December. So this is where I had exited my IOC stock idea that I just showed you. So I've taken a note that I should have used this particular level to add more to my position instead of exiting it. So I know that here my exit strategy was not that great. What I as a swing trader should have done was either use a tighter stop loss. I could have used a 20-day moving average as a stop loss, or I could have used and re-entered here, or I could have used a much bigger stop loss which could have been below the 500-day moving average, giving my stock the breathing space it deserved, and earned 15% more in just less than 30 days. So your notes don't have to be lengthy, they don't have to be multiple lines. You can just resort to 5 to 6 words to sum up what you want to capture about that. Initially, trade journaling is not going to be easy because we don't know right now how to express ourselves in written language. You might not be used to it. All you need in the trade tracker is name of the stock, the date you're purchasing it, the quantity, the cost, a big field for entering remarks, and column for your exit date and your exit price. Now, mind you, this tracker that I'm showing is for long only strategy in the cash segment. If you're someone who trades FNO, long, short, both options, then your trade tracker will look very different, and for that you'll probably have to build it customized. So you basically, so what happens is that as a swing trader, I tend to participate in one stock multiple times during a year. My objective for me and my members is to take the capital or allocate the capital in such a way that in a year it can be churned at least 3-4 times, and every time I churn them, it gives with a risk reward ratio of 3, it gives a sizable profit which should ideally help me beat the market. Okay, now I showed you about IOC and I showed you what you need to do in the trade tracker. Now let me show you the trade tracker which I built for my members. So this is a sample trade tracker where I mentioned the code which actually helps. So simply entering this code, what it does is it pulls the analysis which I have done for the stock ideas which I am giving to my members. So the funda is very simple. I told you, right, that analysis and execution are 2 whole-time jobs. So I am doing half the job of giving you the analysis of stocks, and all you have to do is work on the execution. So for the execution, I have built this trade tracker for you, which will help you become a better trade executor. So once you have the stock analysis here, when it's a new stock idea, it gives you a green row showing that it is still raw or unparticipated. Now what you have to do is, just as soon as you enter the buying date, you see that the green color has gone, which brings us to the second row. Once the green color is gone, you can see these blue columns. Now these are the only columns or the only cells where you have to make your input, and here you can enter your quantity, your buy price, automatically calculates your invested amount, shows you the profit and loss, shows you how much you have invested. Once you think you're done with the stock or your target has come, or for whatever reason you want to exit, all you have to do is enter the date and enter the sell price. Now this is where the most important part of the entire trade tracker is, the last column, where you are expected to enter your remarks whenever you have one. It can be at the time of entry, it can be at the time of exit. Ideally it should be both. I personally go one step further. I not only record my thoughts at the time of entry and exit so that I stay on course, but I also mark myself at the end of every quarter on all the trades I take, and my aim is always to reduce my mark. So if I did a bad trade where the entry and the exit both were really bad, then I give myself a point of 5, and if I took a trade where my entry exit both were beautiful, I give myself a top rank of 1, and then I look at the average. So my aim is personally to improve the average. I actually got this idea from a great book where they said that, you know, you should have just one metric and you should try to constantly improve that metric. So this average of my trading score is the metric that I am aiming to personally improve. And I have been able to mature towards the stage of building that metric only because I've been using this trade tracker methodology since the past 6 years, and it has given me immense improvement curve on my trades. All right, so I'll share a few links with you in the chat. First link is the first link is for my trade tracker, is for my Telegram channel. If you've not joined the Telegram channel already, I will urge you to join the Telegram channel right away, because that will help you stay connected with me. All right, sorry, just hold on. I'm experiencing a little bit of technical glitch here. Okay, so the first link that I'm sharing with you is, like I said, my my Telegram channel. The second link that I wish to share with you is for services. If you want to avail anything, I can help you out with your portfolio analysis, or if you want to trade together with me, you can also check out those links. I've shared them with you. Now let's move on to answering your stock queries, and I will start taking a look at the comments. So whatever stocks you want analysis with, we have 15 minutes left in this session. I'll be more than happy to answer your stock queries. Let's take a look at the comments. And yes, as the ET moderator is saying, if you're liking this session, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. It really helps build morale and also aids me in providing better content for you. Thank you so much, Kanakraj ji, for joining in again. Anuradha ji, advice for scalpers: don't do it. That's my only advice. Especially if you're a retail trader and you're getting into scalping, it's not worth it, because you obviously don't have favorably negotiated trading rates, and you're probably just losing a lot of money in charges and taxes if you look into it. Okay. All right, so looks like today we have no questions, which is great. With this, I will call this session a wrap. If you found the trade tracker useful, and if you think it is something that you would like to deploy for yourself, don't worry. At the beginning, it can sound and seem a little intimidating, a little demanding, and it is a little bit, obviously. But if you want to see significant returns, significant improvement, थोड़ा effort तो आपको भी डालना पड़ेगा, right? Okay, with that, I will take your leave. Thank you so much for joining today. I will see you again on Wednesday with the Let's Get Technical series, where I bring for you stock chart analysis. I share my own trading insights with a technical analysis perspective and hope that it helps you out. So, namaste. See you on Wednesday.